first time my trash can got crushed, I didn't think too much of it. Things happen, right? A neighborhood kid might have lost control of his bike. Maybe a car backed up too fast, clipped the can, and drove off embarrassed. Our little HOA-controlled neighborhood was notorious for its narrow streets, the kind where two cars passing each other had to play a careful dance to avoid scraping paint. So when I walked outside that Monday morning and saw my can flattened on its side, the lid bent and wheels snapped off, I sighed, dragged it upright, and told myself I'd deal with it later. I went to work, half annoyed but mostly unconcerned. But when I returned home that evening, something caught my eye. Tire marks. Fresh, clean, obvious black streaks running straight over the exact spot where my can had stood. I frowned, crouched down to touch them, and felt the faintest trace of rubber grit under my fingertips. My annoyance grew sharper, but still, mistakes happen, right? The second time I knew better. It was the following week, trash pickup day. I had replaced the broken can with a new one, wheeled it out carefully in the morning, making sure it wasn't sticking too far into the street. I even positioned it flush against the curb, right between my driveway and the neighbor's fence. There was no way anyone could accidentally hit it unless they tried. That evening, I came home to the sight of yet another can smashed beyond repair. The lid was ripped clean off, one of the wheels had popped several feet away, and the can itself had deep gouges running across its side, as if something heavy had dragged along it. And once again, tire marks. I stood there staring, hands on my hips, heat building in my chest. That wasn't an accident. Someone was targeting my trash can. I thought back over my neighbors, the young couple across the street, always friendly, waved every morning, the retired teacher next door, kept to herself, the single dad at the corner, borrowed my ladder once and returned it on time, with a six-pack as thanks. None of them seemed like the type. But then there was Karen. Karen, the self-appointed queen of the HOA. She wasn't officially on the board, but she acted like she ran the whole neighborhood. She sent out passive-aggressive emails about yard aesthetics. She measured people's grass with a ruler, I kid you not. She once even told me my porch light was too bright for community standards. I ignored her most of the time, but she had a way of inserting herself into everyone's business like a mosquito that never quit buzzing. Could it be her? The thought nagged at me all night, and then came the third time. By now I'd gotten smart. I set up a small security camera on the corner of my porch, angled right at the curb. It wasn't top of the line, but it had night vision and motion detection. I figured if this kept happening, at least I'd have proof. Trash day came. I wheeled out yet another brand new can, the third one in as many weeks. I went to work, came home, and sure enough, there it was, flattened. Wheels snapped. The camera was still recording. I rushed inside, pulled up the footage, and there she was, Karen, in her shiny white SUV, sunglasses perched on her nose like she was too good to look at anyone. She didn't swerve accidentally. No, she angled deliberately, lined up her car, and rolled right over my can with the precision of someone crushing a soda can underfoot. She even smiled. I felt my blood boil. This wasn't carelessness. This wasn't a mistake. This was personal. I stormed over to her house, fists clenched, video queued up on my phone. She answered the door with that same smug expression she always wore, as if she'd been waiting for me. "Can I help you?" she asked, her voice dripping with fake politeness. "You can explain why you keep running over my trash cans," I snapped, shoving the phone toward her. Her eyes flicked to the screen, then back to me, utterly unfazed. She shrugged. "Maybe don't put your trash in my way." "In your way?" My voice rose, echoing down the street. "It's at the curb, exactly where it's supposed to be." She smirked. "Curb space is public property. If you don't like it, move it further back. Or better yet, stop cluttering the street with your junk." I stood there in stunned silence, rage boiling in my chest. She wasn't denying it. She wasn't even embarrassed. She was proud of what she'd done, like it was her right to decide who got to put trash out in front of their own house. "You're insane," I muttered, shaking my head. Karen leaned against her doorframe, arms crossed, victorious. "Call the HOA if you want. They'll tell you the same thing I did. Trash cans are supposed to be discreet. Yours are in the way. I'm just teaching you a lesson I left before I said something I'd regret, but the fury inside me only grew. Over the next few days, I tried talking to the HOA board, showing them the footage. They brushed me off. It's hard to prove intent, they said, even though the video clearly showed her swerving deliberately. It's best to just avoid conflict with your neighbors. Avoid conflict. Easy for them to say. They weren't the ones buying new trash cans every week. By the time the fourth can was destroyed, I'd had enough. This wasn't just about trash anymore. It was about respect. It was about standing up to someone who thought she could bully everyone into submission. Karen believed she owned the street, the HOA, the entire neighborhood. She believed she could get away with anything. I decided it was time to prove her wrong. At first, I tried to reason with her, even moving my bin further back from the road, but it didn't matter. She swerved intentionally, like it was her personal mission to destroy anything I set out. The HOA board shrugged it off, claiming there was no proof of intent, though half the neighborhood had seen her do it. I was tired of being ignored, tired of replacing trash cans every other week. So I decided to get creative. I called up a friend who worked in construction, and together we built a trash can mold out of reinforced concrete, painted it the same dull black as the originals. To anyone else, it looked like a normal bin, but this one wasn't going to budge. The next Monday morning, like clockwork, Karen came barreling down the street, aiming for my can with that smug grin. But this time, the satisfying crunch didn't come from plastic. It came from her bumper. Her SUV jolted to a stop, the front end crumpled like tin foil, steam hissing from under the hood. She stumbled out, red-faced and furious, screaming accusations. Neighbors poured out of their houses, phones recording the whole spectacle. The HOA had no choice but to act when they saw the footage. Karen ended up footing the bill for her own damage and finally stopped her petty war. And as for me, my concrete trash can still stands proudly at the curb, untouched and undefeated.